some little insight into what the goal of the call is going to be. So the theme of the session is like really, really direct. It's so direct. For me, there are times when I've gotten an interviews, and to be very honest, when the interview started, I am very confident about the fact that I will probably skill one or two stage in this interview. Or secondly, I'm just in interview session. I'm just like, man, I don't think I want to even work here. I remember there was I did an interview some time ago, and I mean quite a while. And after the CEO asked me on the call, was like, "Oh, and do you have any question?" I was like, "Oh, okay. What does it feel like working in sales here? I know it's quite direct. Sales, it's numbers. If your numbers is not coming in, I mean, what the hell are you doing? But how do I feel the cushion that I am head here?" And the CEO was like, "Oh, I mean, that he understands that from his background, he's a salesperson too, but so but by all means, I mean, he too is like he's facing it every day. So, but he still understands how to cushion it." And I said something jokingly that I was like, I mean, now see you go find product to now in the find wahala. So I just wanted to come in to do my own bit of my own career and that was where we started from. And I think that was when I knew that that was a good place to work. And I'm saying this on the side of sales talent, but at the same time too, what do these people see in the people that they are like, man, that's my guy. I'm going to get that guy. And even when the guy starts the first month, second month, he's still trying to ramp up, and the management is asking, how far this your guy that you employ? Or like, just give him time. And somehow, along the line, the guy like catch up, and then he picked up his um picked up everything and is delivering his quota month on month, quarter. I mean, sometimes this is bad. So we are trying to explore this on this call because I mean this just even defines the kind of job you want to apply to. This kind define what your expectation would look like when you hear these things and you hear these people talk. I have two people on the call today that are going to that are going to share from to us part of their experience. And I like the fact that we're having someone that is like doing a lot of things in Nigeria, yeah, and of course, like not in the small scale, and someone that's gone beyond the shores of the border. And we know, I mean, some of we know we are not necessarily they're not necessarily like strangers to us. So, but at the same time, we do not want to get familiar with the gifts that they are. So that's why we're having them in this session to like share with us. I'm going to just run through a little bit of, I mean, I'm not reading all their the details in their profile, but I'm going to like just touch a little bit of that. First, we've seen on the flyer we have Tayo Showali, which is an integral part of this community, and presently is director of revenues operations at G Gaming Limited, a global um gaming company operating across Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Maybe you can give us some pounds before he leaves the call, but let's see how it goes. In this role, he has designed go-to-market strategy, which builds the system that aligns sales, marketing, and customer success for sustainable growth and intentional expansion. So, and we know him that is a leader in the industry. Is like fetching. I personally heard about Tayo from a friend about how rigorous he was. And I was like, man, I hope I met him, man. I hope I helped him when he was still around there. But at the same time, people that's passed through Tayo, I've passed through them and has been able to present good credits to me too. And yes, we have Chika Akaize too. I mean, a great leader doing a lot of things. I said something when I was interacting with Chika the last time that I mean I have always been doing sales in a startup environment, which I said might be bad for my health at the moment. But at the same time, he's doing it in a very somewhere where you have to present your numbers, right? Like too often. And Chika is an accomplished strategic leader with a robust track record of driving triple digits growth and successful market expansion across the fintech, telecommunications, and FMCG. This is that FMCG. As a transformative force in that industry, Chika delivered a social and financial results, including a 300% growth in customer acquisition and 237 increase in revenue in financial year of 20. I mean, the year just started, bro. I think I so we can see how that's we are loaded with years of experience that will be shared here. So I just want us to harness the best of it and be able to take the best out of it. Before I like now turn the mic to my speaker so I can hear them talk. I just wanted to say something else I saw yesterday. Um, Also on IG, I can doom scroll a little bit when I'm thinking. So that guy said, "Oh, it's like a meme. It's like, oh, you lie a lot. And you people in sales." And the guy was like, "Have you heard the prospect to speak to?" Like, so it's comparing the kind of lies that he said people are trying to say, "Oh, sales are liars, sales guys are liars, but men are prospects too." And so a new guy was now on the call. It was like, hello, they had just booked my first call. They said I should call them back in 30 minutes. And a lot of people in the meeting were laughing at him that, bro, you've been dumped. Like, so don't think they'll call you back. But I mean, this is what we experience in sales. We have to be very assertive with what we are doing. But let me just turn the mic. Let me speak to Let me speak with Chika first. Hi, Chika. How's it going?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. You're welcome to the podium, if I can call it that way. And how's it going? How's the weekend so far? I can see that you are fixated on your screen. It feels like you're still running through a lot of things to like get it going.
I'm using two screens actually.
Oh, okay,
So that's
okay,
why.
that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, Tayo. How's it going?
It's going well for me. How's it going
Yeah,
on your side too?
fine. It's fine. Just rained in Nigeria and it's still hot. So how's it over there?
um, it's bright today. There's some sun. But
Oh, it's
it's
too
like
chilled,
what
right?
11 degrees today, which
Mm.
is warm.
All right. I mean, so I'm going to get into it because I just want us to take enough of our time to explore all of this, right? So I'm going to like open the frame from this first question. I'm asking you, Tayo. So
Okay.
if you want to start over as a salesperson today from ground zero, like from ground zero, what is one thing? I mean, now I'm giving you the privilege of having knowing what you've built, or the skills you've built before. But let's say you're now starting from ground zero. What is one thing you're going to build first? What is one thing you focus on first?
I thought we were going to start with the easy questions first. Oh man. So there's I know you asked for one, but there's two types of skills.
Okay.
One is like wishful thinking, where
Mhm.
it will be like the ability to just see the future, like to
Mhm.
see what's hot, to see what technology is going to blow, and just be selling that one.
Mhm.
um, but from a more realistic point of view, I think that the skill that I would invest the most time in early on would be listening.
True. I love
As a
that.
salesperson.
Mhm.
Even now, after all of these years, there is a tendency to, maybe even it's because of all of this experience, there's a tendency to jump to conclusion. There's a
Mhm.
tendency to assume that I know where this is going. I know where the problem, I know what your problem is, and not really listening to the the person or the even the environment. You feel like, let me tell you what the problem is, or let me show you that I know what your problem is. And it's the quickest way to find people who actually cannot sell,
Mhm.
who treat sales as um, just, I want to let's just make this exchange, right? So that's what it would be for me.
I think I like that. I like that. And I want to run, but I still want to stop here. I want to like dig deep into something. I had an experience with somebody yesterday, and they asked the question, and the person answered the question immediately. Then I stopped. I just raised my hand in that meeting. I was like, do you know if you are like it was like a session where we're trying to bring ourselves up on something? Like, do you know if you had stayed to ask more questions, been able to answer this better? Now, how would you address? I mean, with now, let's wind to the future. Now, you've learned a lot of things. That listening skill now, you've built it. How would you address um listening, even though in sales you have to talk? So I hope this is like direct. Yeah. Do you want to
Yeah.
take that?
Let,
So
Tell me, can I take that question? You don't
Yes.
I
mind.
can ask. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so
Sure.
when Tayo was speaking, it was not speaking a word out of my mouth, to be honest. And from what you just said now, I want to put it into personal perspective. And now, I said some time ago, in fact, I say it all the time when I talk to salespeople, and I ask them, if you look at me, what do you think? Am I an introvert or extrovert? Every time they say I'm an extrovert, but it's not true. I'm actually introverted, extremely introverted. So because I'm not doing sales at the early time of my career to overcompensate, I started talking a lot just so that I can cope with the job. So I just talk and talk and talk. And I got used to it. But the funny part is that for you to say, you have to listen and listen with empathy.
Hmm.
There's a way I think about put it. Said you can see what's going on. And the only way you can know exactly what is going on is because you're listening with empathy. This sales activity is a core skill. If you have it, you have it. If you don't have it. And just like I said, even till today, I still get to pinch myself mid conversation, say guy, just pipe low, let the guy talk, let the guy talk. And you just ask those, they'll say five whys, just to uncover the real pain points. So that when you are giving a pitch, you are giving a pitch that solves the problem. You're not giving a pitch because it sounds exciting. And the only person saying aha is you in your mind because you like the sound of your voice. You're trying to get the customer to get that aha moments so that they are hooked and then you
Mhm.
cannot close or close. So that's the way I like to look at it.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for jumping in. In fact, I like the way you took it through. And Ty, do you still want to add something to that before we move? Or
First thing is, Chika, I think there's some issue with your audio. It wasn't very clear. I don't know if it was just me.
Oh,
yeah, if yeah, I was even
Yeah,
thinking it's an
there was
oh,
internet. Yeah.
there was some
okay.
issue there. I'm not sure there's anything to add. I think that it's just also so you have to listen with intent. There is you can be performative, right? You know when you talk to children and you're saying, "Oh, I don't want you to do this. I want you to do this," and they're just going
Mm,
right,
mm,
like they're nodding as if they're listening to you, but they're really not because the next moment they're doing the exact thing
yeah.
it's not that. It's really um I think of sales as and salespeople as a sponge, right? So when you're in a situation, when in that conversation, you're supposed to be soaking up everything that is coming in. Obviously with a filter and filtering what is important,
Yeah.
what is not important,
Yeah.
what is a sign of a potential sale, and what is a sign of the sale not happening. Like you have to be taking, and it's important. It helps to go into those interactions. It helps if you go into those interactions with a mindset of I want to help this person,
Mm, mm,
right? I want to help this person whether my product is the best for them or not. Like if my product is not the best for them, I want to let them know very quickly. Their time is also important to them. My time is important to me, right? So
mm.
yeah, that's the only thing I'd add to that.
Yeah, and at the beginning of my career, somebody taught me something like it was like Femi in a demo. For example, you're in a demo already pitching already. He said, can you try to ensure that every answer you're giving to the client, you're using it to ask a question? So that presents you, on the other hand, as that you are listening and you're trying to solve the solution. And to be honest, it sounds like a very formula thing that you can start doing, but I knew how hard it was because at the core of it, if I try to just want to pose a question without actually now listening to ask that question, then it becomes a problem. And I'm not sure Chika is back, but I would have loved to go to Chika. But I want to ask you this question now. We've explored things that feels like important when you're building your career. Now let's now look at the irony. What is that skill today that if you see a job ad, you find it there, or someone is trying to a great salesperson is sorry, should I use the word a great someone that is like a sales content creator is talking about it, and you just hear like, bro, this thing does not even matter in sales today. What is that thing? Because I mean, we are all trying to well, several levels of our career trying to even reach the next thing, but this information would help us understand that maybe we should not even focus on these things at all and be able to build on what is necessary. What's that one thing, maybe one thing that feels like, man, this thing does not matter. but people really focus on it.
Right, that's an important question because, and Chika inadvertently started to answer it before you even asked the question. It is the people feel like there is an ideal way a salesperson is, like a persona, and that is like confident, talkative, chirpy, happy-go-lucky, extroverted.
Mm,
And that could not be far from the truth, could not be further from the truth, rather, because there are many different types of people. Some of the best salespeople that I've met are some of the most effective salespeople that I've met are quiet, methodical, and very disciplined. But there are also great salespeople that I've met who are, yes, who are your like run of the mill, just have fun, outgoing people. But under all of that is still a crazy amount of effort and hard work and discipline. Um, and today, when you also think about like the ideal profile of a salesperson, it's difficult to nail one down because there are many different types of sales. There are many
true.
different types of products. There are many different types of industries. And even that doesn't matter as much as the fact that there are just many different types of buyers, and those different personas also do well or do better with certain types of people.
Mm,
But
mm,
regardless of your personality, regardless of whether you're extroverted or introverted or you're an ambivert, there is still a unified idea of, I want to solve a problem for this person. There is still the idea that I want to uncover needs. I want to do this much. And I'm even talking about inside of the sales call. Before you get in front of the customer, there's still a lot of hard work that has to be done, of prospecting, of outreach, of showing up, right?
mm,
Of following up, of doing all of that, of looking at the data. And it takes an extreme level of discipline to get through that amount of work consistently for years,
mm, mm,
like
mm,
4 years. So when you think
mm,
about, and again, you can think about a sports example, right? And I apologize to people who are not sports fans here, but think of people who play any sport, take football, or who are at the top for 3, 4, 5 years, right? And they're great. And in those 5 years, they're at the top of the world. And in 2 years' time, you don't hear about them anymore. But you can also see people who are at the same level of talent or even lower who play the same sport for 20 years, meaning morning, afternoon, night, January to December, year 1 to year 20, they are at the top of their game. They are not they don't have the most flair, they don't have the most speed, they don't have the most strength, but they are there. And it's the same thing in sales. So I think it's just that extroversion that, oh, this person is too quiet, this person doesn't talk much, so it cannot be, it's not a natural salesperson. Like, what does that even mean?
mm, mm.
So yeah.
Yeah. That's the word. What like natural salesperson? Like there's always. I mean, I heard someone say something else. It's an inherent skill. Like if you don't have it, you don't have it. But I mean, people build it. People build those skills. People like learn to sell. Right. Someone like me too. I mean, my background. It was out of school. It was I was leaving school during COVID year, and everything just felt like, man, what are you going to do with your life? And one of my friends that was building something in Badon that then was like, Femi, come and do this for me. I was like, and I started, and at every month, just sits with me at the end of the month. I was with the guy, which was like, Femi, we didn't reach our numbers. I was like, bro, you can't keep like. There was, I just said, I'm not doing again. You're not even paying me good money. I'm going to Lagos. And I came to Lagos. Guess what? I met the same thing, and I still like built straight. But now, um, Chika, Tayo said something, and it was trying to hint at a global building idea. But before we even reach a global thing, there's still many of us that since we started sales for someone like me. I've just been a startup. I've gone from logistic tech. I've done something in HR tech. I'm in HR tech right now. I've done something in ed tech too. But somehow you feel like I'm getting it. I'm doing it well in sales, and it feels like that's that one direction. But you have been able to cross industry, right? So what would you say from your experience across this market? What would you say separates an high performing salesperson from an average one? Mm,
Uh, uh, so I think the first thing is grit, which is piggybacking on what I said earlier about being able to do all that pre-work, research, prospecting, data mining before you not even get to the customer to start asking discovery questions. So that grit has to be there. You have to be able to show up every single day, whether it rains or it's sunny or it's snowing, every
mm,
single day, consistently for as long as possible. The next one I think is possibly curiosity. Curiosity in the sense that you, yes, you want to solve problems, but the way I like to look at it is, and I think especially for those of us who are in tech, this is something that I think is a no-brainer. A lot of times, the kick-ass products that are out there started because somebody had a problem, someone else listened to that problem, decided
mm,
to solve it for that one person, and that's how the product was born. And now everybody is not jumping on top of it. Whether you want to talk about Slack, you want to talk about Stripe, you want to talk about um, and any of those tech stuff that we use, even AI. Somebody had a problem, somebody sat down to discover that problem with the person, built a solution around it, and then now it became a kick-ass product that is now running into billions of dollars annual recurring revenue. So grits for me, showing up every day, and then of course curiosity to be able to find out the boring stuff. Let me put it that way. To find out, peel out the boring stuff, and still try to
mm,
find value in it. Because sometimes it can be a, a long walk in a dark corridor filled with cobwebs, but you just keep
mm,
going because you feel like
mm,
something is at the end. I want to see what's at the end of this thing.
So
That's how you
so
strike gold most of the time.
okay. Mm, mm. So would you say that, like, it feels like from everything you said you were like just trying to refer to that grit matters, like,
Yes, 100%.
mm. You have to, even if by 5 p.m. A day before you were like, ah man, I'm tired of this career, you have to wake up tomorrow morning and be like, I mean, I still have that coffee, let me see if I can close that, right?
Yeah.
And this is the another thing that still surprises me for someone like me now. I hate follow-ups. I hate it a lot. I hate it a lot because sometimes you just feel like, guy, I have my own respects to take care of. But you have to follow up. I hate follow up a lot. And so that's why I think I just want to try, when I'm trying to meet that person, find something that will not make my follow-up feel like a follow-up any longer. So which means that I want to find that thing that is common between I and this person. I want to make sure that person saves my number, that I can suddenly see their status one day and be able to make them closer, right? There's one person, that one client that I closed, and she called me one day for like, do you know why? Do you know why I'm not shouting? I'm not. I was like, what? She's like, that is because you are going to this church and your pastor is my pastor's friend. That was where she closed it. I was like, no, that person has given me two clients from, like, referred two clients from because of that relationship, right? The way we built that relationship, and that's just the way I found how to manage my follow-up thing, right? So I'm keeping this question for the last question, but I want to ask it now. It's burning me. It's very simple. Chika, would you say sales is easy?
Hmm. No.
Please, those
I
that
mean,
just want to enter sales, please, don't fear. Let him
so, but,
explain.
but 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 I say no with a caveat. I say
Yeah.
no with a caveat. The caveat is if you don't understand the frameworks, you don't have any clue what to do. It's hard. It's desperately hard. When we talk about grades, earlier we are talking about showing up both on good and bad days, and
Mm,
show up with your chin high, shoulders wide, smile on your face, like it's bright and sunny, even if
mm,
internally it's not. So
mm,
it's hard. But
mm,
then when you have the right tools, you've got the right systems, you have the right knowledge. I mean, it's a breeze.
Mm.
You know that feeling when you close the deal and then the commission time comes and gets commission. And
Yes.
suddenly the price for a ticket to London for holidays no longer so expensive anymore. And I'm thinking, babe, you don't think we should do that about this summer because bonus has coming. That feeling you will go again. Trust me.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
helps to fuel that grace.
Mm. I think I like that. I like that. I want to ask Tayo the same question, but I'm adding like A1 or something. How do they call that in math? So right now, Chika said sales is not easy, and I believe so, right? But when do you know that? How, because now everybody's trying to get into sales, or like revenue leaders know that they are looking for salespeople. But for some people, the place they are doing the sales is not great. Now, this is not a case for toxic, might not be great, or how do they know it's like is the place not them? So I remember one time one of my friends was leaving the company, and one of the things my manager told him there was like, see, this place you are going, even if it's not working, let's make sure that it is not you, it is them. Like, how are people able to see this thing that, man, I think it's not me right now, it is them? Like, what are the things they should look for? Sometimes I say product, right? Me, I've said some to someone that I mean, sometimes the product is that the product is like, even the product is early entry or early entrance or something like that, but there's a way you can feel like, yes, I think I can stay to here. What should people look for in that area? Yeah.
Um, okay, so first of all, sales is hard. There's no caveat. I'm not adding any caveat. It's just hard. um, but there's nothing that is easy. There's no profession that is easy. That's just what it is. There's nothing that's worth doing that can be rewarding that is easy. Even if you wanted to go into a life of crime, it's not easy.
Mm.
I'm not saying this from personal experience. That's what I heard. But how do you know that? I think your question is, how do you know that the place that you're going? So I'm taking this to be a
Yeah, I
company.
mean,
Like,
like
how do you
maybe
know it's not the
external
right place?
factors. Yeah, maybe external factors are the situation,
Yeah,
not even you at the moment. Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, I don't think you can.
Hmm.
I don't think you can know for a fact that it's not right for you. You can, and this is just from a sales point of view, not from the other things in the company, like is the workplace toxic, like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, this is not the right sales environment for me. At the start of your career, it is, I think, impossible for you to know.
Hmm.
What you can do is figure out how they sell, what the process is internally, if there's any, um, and try to sell, try to do what they're asking you to do. Now, in doing what they're asking you to do, as you sort of mature, as you spend time there and in sales, my assumption is that you will, on the side, also try to improve yourself. Now, finding knowledge, finding mentors, taking courses, taking trainings, and reading and just doing things, you would see the difference between what you're being asked to do and what else exists out there. And so you're
Hmm.
fine-tuning yourself, your
Hmm.
own skill.
Hmm.
Um, Now, what would typically happen is, if what they're asking you to do is working, then what is really the problem? Right? If they're saying, just come, pick up the phone, call any 100 people you like, and
Hmm.
you will sell 10, you close at the 10% conversion rate, and what we really need from you is a 7% conversion rate, then what is the problem, right? So you're
Hmm.
fulfilling the part of the company, you're doing what they ask you to do. But as you start to get better, as you start to take other knowledge in, you're now like, you know what, I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it a certain way. The fact that you are already succeeding will give you leverage to be able to try things If you try things and you go from a 10% conversion rate to a 20% conversion rate, there's nobody in the world, there's no sales leader in the world who's not going to come and say, you're doing it differently, but you're giving me double the results. Can you come and show me and the rest of your colleagues how you are doing it? Right? But so first thing is, if what they're then asking you to do is not working, it gives you an opportunity to even sort of bring up your own ideas quickly, more quickly than you would have if it was working. But the biggest challenge is if you come and you say, no, I know how to do this thing better, I feel like it, and then you fail even more spectacularly, then you've lost credibility, right? Chances are you will not be the first person to get to that place and say this thing is not working, and they will say, oh yeah, now come and do it, and you will fail. Right. So again, just to go back to the question itself, I don't know that there's a way to know. I think it should just be a case of I'm continuously improving myself until I outgrow this thing. And it could be this company, this industry, this product, whatever it is. As you go along in your career, you would have enough knowledge, enough hindsight, enough ambition to be able to say, yeah, this is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to sell. This is not the industry I want to be in. This is not how I want to work. But until then, I'm not sure there's anything you can do.
Yeah, and I know that you mentioned something that I think makes a lot of sense. Because even for something that feels so sacred as marriage, they'll still ask you to get support outside, get mentors, get people that you talk to, belong to communities. I mean, sometimes get knowledge, and sometimes I really think these things, they are sacrifice you have to pay there to be able to get those things in, right? So, thank you for that, Tayo. I think that makes a lot of sense. But now, this session, what we're driving at is to like make you see that there are particular things that revenue leaders are looking for people to get into sales, and of course for those already in sales to like scale in their career. So there's something that they used to say that your number will speak for you in sales, and I'm trying to address this question for those that are already in sales. Your number will speak for you in sales, that just keep delivering your quota month on month, that you're going to get the actual promotion. And the irony is that sometimes that might not be true. For leaders, I'm both of you would answer this question. For leaders as you are now, what have you seen? Because now this question is for those that are already in sales but are hoping to scale in career and be like, bro, I'm delivering my quota, and the next thing we're looking for a head of something, they're putting out a job ad. Why can't they give me this job? Why are they not going to give me the job? So, Chika, I want you to go first.
Okay, so I will answer this question from two perspectives. No, one perspective, I have to create a background. Now, in every organization, there are pretty much three, is it three? Let's say 3 or 4, three steps throughout the hierarchies. You have what we call implementers. So these are the people that you find entry level, answering, sales executive, sales officer, BD officer, all of you, implementers. So at that level, what people are going to be looking out for is somebody who is good at what they do. So maybe your numbers might speak for you, who knows? But that's the Now, for the ones that I want to now go a bit higher, the level just after that, where you start having things like team lead and stuff like that, what is now critical there is not that you know how to do the job, but the fact that you can bring people together from different teams and get things done. At that point, you call them unifiers. So you are the salesperson, but you are now leading a team where there is the inbound, there is the outbound, there is the operations, there is the marketing, there is somebody who does contracts and all of that. You are able to coordinate these touch points, and then they make you a team leader. Usually they call them unifiers. Now, then above these guys is where you now have the senior management and executive leadership. These are communicators. These are people that will give you kind of Obama kind of speech on the beginning of the financial year. and all you want to do is to go out there and go and sell $300 million. You don't know why you see it, oh, but they have just told you 5 lines. And there's fire in your bones. These ones are communicators. So you can see that at every level, what is required is different. So when you not tell me that your numbers will speak for you, at the level of implementer, maybe when you get to unifier, nobody will be so concerned about number. It is more
Yeah.
about how well you are able to coordinate different parts of the teams to get results. You're not getting close to management level. So are you able to get people to do 3 different people in 3 different sections of the business to work together towards a goal? If you're not having that quality, no deal. So you might be delivering your quota every year and you'll be there 15 years. Like, they're not promoting me. The new role has come out. They are bringing me from outside. That is it. It's not personal. If you
Okay.
show the capability, you will get there. But then again, there's a flip side to it. And this is where I want to reference something that Tayo said earlier. He said salespeople should be like a sponge. So if you're the kind of person who, from a distance, you look like someone who is coachable, it's a lot easier for somebody to not take a bet on you to say, okay, this guy might not know this thing 100% yet, but he's a sponge. If I put him there and I guide him for like 3 to 6 months, he will be okay. So if you don't have that innate skill of being a sponge, mean that you are coachable. They can show you frameworks. You will look at it, analyze it, understand it, and replicate it over and over again. They show you something else. You're able to absorb it, implement it, and drive it going forward. Even show other
Mm,
people, no deal, no
mm,
deal.
mm,
So you can see that, first of all, there are the levels. So depending on the level that you are now, those are for people that are already in the system. Depending on the level that you are now, if you're trying to punch your to a level above your current weight class, if you don't have some certain kind of soft skills, not hard skills anymore, soft
mm,
skills, there's no deal.
mm,
But then again, the workaround for it is presenting yourself as someone who is coachable. And this is both within and without the organization,
mm,
meaning that if you don't have a sponsor internally or a mentor internally, you can have them outside. And people see these things. Once you start having access to new information and start practicing or doing things in different ways, people will see it. It's obvious. And then the conversation will start changing. Things that you will not normally hear before, you start hearing it. Rooms
mm,
that you will not normally be a part of, they start inviting you to those rooms. And that's when you know that signal has changed.
mm,
But a lot of us, especially for those of us who are salespeople, we have spent a lot of time being what we call individual contributors, that you now forget that to go up, you have to let things go.
true. True.
So if you continue to keep your hand in the gutter because Lagbaja is not meeting the quota, let me help him and make that call. Let me drag him to that meeting. We have to close that deal. I must meet the target. You will not go up. You will
Right.
not. I promise you that.
Right.
So you have to let things go and start operating at the unifier level.
Mm,
When you get to communicator level, it's not even more strategic. So you are in the initial level where what we call implementers is strictly operational. It gets to
mm,
unifier more like 50-50, operational strategic. At
mm,
the communicator level, is like 90-10. In fact, maybe
mm,
95-5. 95 strategic, 5% operations, where it's an extreme case. Like, if I don't put my hand there, things will go bad. Otherwise, you will not even bother. There's no need.
mm, mm.
So
Well, that's
that's
so
how, that's
detailed.
how I feel we can look at it.
Yeah, that's so detailed, Chika. Before I say anything, I want Tayo to go. Yeah, I want Tayo to go. I mean, so detailed.
What's he said?
Yes, yes. I mean,
What's he,
even for me, I can pick one or two things to reference, and I just wanted to go to so I can be soaked. Yeah.
oh man, I'm not sure I can add anything to that. Let me try. Um,
Mm,
so everything that Chika said is 101% correct. And it's the realization that what makes you successful as an individual contributor is not the same skill that will make you successful as a manager of people. And what makes you successful as a manager of 50, 20, 100, 1,000 people is not what will make you successful as a strategic leader.
mm,
In fact, what makes you successful as an IC, as an individual contributor, if you don't let go of some of those things, will hinder you from succeeding at the next level. And so that thing around sponsors, right, and signals, there are things that leaders look out for in individual contributors that is a signal to, okay, maybe they are ready for the next level. It looks like they are transitioning into that next level. And it's in, some of the small things, like how you communicate, how you handle problems, how you solve problems, how you take ownership of things that are not necessarily yours to solve, but maybe there's just a gap, there's just nobody, so, or maybe you are the one who just figures out the problem. Oh, I saw that this thing happened, and it's happening in a way where, even though it's our current process, I think that we could be doing it better. And instead of just coming and saying, hey, I saw the problem, and expecting cookies for it, you're like, hey, I saw the problem, I documented it, I created a system that I think solves it. Can we discuss it? This is what it looks like. If you take that to your manager, right, the next time they have a problem, they will call you and say, oh, have you noticed this? And then you say, I haven't, but it sounds like, let me check and come back to you. And then you come back to them and you say, I found out the problem. And they're like, yeah, so solve it. And let me know what you think the solution is. Or maybe they don't even say solve it. They just ask you on the spot and you say, what do you think the solution is? And that's where your skills, your sort of IC skills can still be useful, where you say do something, but instead of just jumping in, you do discovery. You ask them, oh, what are we actually trying to achieve? Like you have a conversation, and even your questions to them, they're like, okay, I like the way this person thinks. Your solution might end up not being the right thing, but they might just say, I like the way this person thinks. I like the fact that this person, cares. And they might ask you a trick question of, oh, what do you think about this person? Right? And the sign of a great potential leader is also diplomacy. And you're not going and saying, that person's not any good. Like, they don't know. You're saying, yeah, I feel like they're good at what they do. These are some of the things that I think I could help them with. They're not saying these are some of the things that they've been failing at. Let me even give you a gist. You are being strategic in everything that you do.
Yeah.
And there are just some people who will never make that transition, unfortunately, because think about it, there's only going to be one CEO, there's only going to be one CCO, there's only going to be one VP of sales, there's only going to be one director of sales within a company. So some people have to leave the companies to go do other things. Some people have to take a step back to go get better before they move back up. But these are some of the things that, as you go step by step, you have to shed some of those things. It's not as if you lose them, right? Many people, and again, I'm using a sports example. Sorry guys, but I play sport. I enjoy sports. There are very many people today who are like 20, 21, 22-year-olds in sports teams who are being coached by 45-year-olds. And in their mind, those young people think that their coaches never played. Their coaches were never as good because they didn't see them play. So you're seeing a VP of sales who is saying to you, oh, I don't think you should do it this way, but whatever works for you. And you're thinking, no, I'm a superstar, right? Every now and then, leaders will come down to your level, right? Just to show you that, there's levels to this thing. I've done this, I've been doing this before you were born. And you can do that as well as a leader. Sometimes you do it to earn respect, right? I've been in a sales, I worked in a sales role where a couple of years in, I was talking to somebody on my team and we're having drinks, and he was joking and said, oh, I remember when you first joined, I wasn't very sure that you could do this thing. You say all of these things, but it sounded like theory. But then we went on a few sales calls, and yeah, I knew, and essentially was saying you would not have earned my respect if you could not sell.
Mm, mm.
right? So yeah, let me stop blabbing.
Oh, I mean, that's so detailed. And one of the things that I picked there is the fact that um I mean, at every stage it calls for something. At the end of the day, everybody's even though you're selling the product, you end up selling yourself too, like one way or the other. And even that we've explored this for those that are like already in-house and trying to like climb the ladder or something like that. And another thing I wanted to note that people should, if people didn't pick that, that you hear that there are times when you should know when to leave where you are, not because you're not delivering there, but because you want to grow. Be honest with yourself, right? So it is not a kid. You're not, I mean, it's not a relationship. Like sometimes it's not a reason. I mean, you're not being promoted not because of like they just want to promote you. Like sometimes maybe the management don't even know how to take the decision and they're just like, man, what's the next thing to do? I mean, it's only when the team is expanding, maybe they're starting another annex somewhere else, they can now say, oh, because you've been doing well. But know what you deserve. I mean, it's sales. We know how hard it is, so we should get the best for ourselves. And we've explored this for those that are in-house. Now, those that are coming in. I've discovered that most of the times when I've been on an interview, I get the job not because I know the best sales lingua. I understand what a sales cadence is. Maybe I understand what this and that is. And then, so even from the call, I'm sure that, man, they'll call me for the next stage. And it happens, right? So I wanted to bring this to say, like, what are those things that, I mean, let's say you are hiring today, aside everything that makes a salesperson, the sales lingua, do you know what understand the cadence is? Can you multi-trade? What does those things mean? I remember beginning of my career, there was a particular day I was going for an interview and I was reading textbook because I was scared. And I got to the call and I mean, the guy was just like, "Yeah, how are you doing? I mean, I hope you are good. I mean, I just wanted to meet you, and that's fine." And I was like, "Bro, what's this?" Like, I don't even know if I did well, right? So, like, what's that? What are those things that you look for in a sales lead? Like being direct right now. If you jump on the call, maybe it's one day, some of us will be in a meeting with you before as the panel, just like, guy, you don't give me a spoil, I know what to do. So, so what's that thing, Tayo? That one thing that you're looking for in an interview. What's that thing? Yeah.
Right. So let me start by saying that most times when you get on an interview, they want to hire you. Just by default, they are looking to hire somebody. That's why they are here. No leader wants to waste, even if it's 30 minutes of their time. And so just by knowing that, you know that it really is yours to lose. Do you get? Like chances are you already have at least the next step. You already have it. If you don't score an own goal, you will get to the next step just by appearing and just doing sometimes maybe even the barest minimum. But there's also, so this is not a very straightforward answer. I recognize that, but just hear me out.
Yes.
There are sometimes things that are outside of your control. Sales leaders and generally business leaders are taught like interview skills in some companies. And some of those interview skills are designed to remove bias, like remove any kind of bias from the interviewer's minds. The fact that those trainings exist tells you that bias is strong, is a strong determinant of whether or not you get the job. Everybody, and even especially in sales, people buy from people who they like, right? People buy from people like people who look like them, who speak like them, who dress like them, right? That's a given. So people get into an interview and they're looking for, it's a mistake. They tell us not to do it, but people are looking for themselves in the candidate.
Yeah.
Here's what I
Thank you for
mean.
that.
If a sales leader, if my style is to be very disciplined, do research, sell this way, do this. When you come into an interview, I'm expecting you to be able to do those things. So if you show up to an interview 1 minute late, you are already done. Me personally, I will not even interview you. I will not even waste my time. I already know that I will not hire you just because you're 1 minute late. it's some unfortunate thing might have happened. It may not be your style. It may not be your regular MO, but it has happened today, and I'm just going to make my decision based on that, because most of the time when I go against that, it just doesn't work well for me. So I've made it a thing, right? And so essentially people are looking for, you don't know all of these things, right? You don't, some people are just conversational, they're laid back, they're looking at you and thinking, can I have drinks with this person?
Mm.
Um, is this person argumentative? And so they will deliberately throw a spanner in the works and tell you are wrong on something that you are right about, just to see how you react, right? Just to see how prepared you are, how balanced you are emotionally. You don't, so these things are outside of your control.
Mm, mm, mm.
But actually, are they? Because if you're interviewing for a sales job, you're going to meet all kinds of people, and I expect you to prepare. In this interview, you know now that you're going to meet me, right? I mean, I assume that people generally share who you're meeting with. So you can do some research, right, about the company, about the role. You can like make it seem like I want to see how you would be in the role. That's what people are checking for. How would this person perform in the role? That really is what they're checking for. And so it's always good to, and like we had said, right, there are different types of individuals, there are different kinds of personas that can survive and succeed in sales. So you are who you are, but how do you lean into who you are to succeed? And how do you present that in an interview? Right? If I interview people, many times I will have no script. I have a bunch of questions, but based on what you say, it can go a different way.
Yeah.
Right. So are you the kind of person who, we've scheduled 30 minutes, but I want to keep talking with you for another 30 minutes extra? That's the kind of salesperson I like. And you can learn these things in two minutes into talking to someone, whether they're a prospect or an interviewer. You can learn these things and you can do it. So just to summarize and answer your question, when I'm inside of an interview, what I'm looking for is this person running this like a sales process?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they asking the right questions? Have they done research? Are they coming in and telling me, oh, based on my research, I see that you guys have a number of SDRs, a number of account executives. What is your SDR to AE ratio? What does lead gen look like? Oh, I see that you sell to XYZ. I see that you have a sales-led and a product-led approach. What is the biggest challenge in running those two approaches, and what are the problems? Like, I want to see that you are here, because the thing about it is, I'm imagining you on a Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. We're at the office around the desk, and we're talking about just sales and work, and we're just vibing, and a great idea comes out of that conversation that I'm like, you know what, let's execute next week. If I don't see that in you, so I'm going to stop there. I hope that I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. I mean, with everything you were saying, you just make me appreciate sales the more. Like, it's one rule. I have a friend, and we happen to work together. He's like, man, I don't like sitting in the office. I was like, why? He's like, I mean, the sales I'm doing, why am I here? Like, because there's a way he presents. He was like, I mean, why do you have to come to the office 3 days in a week, bro? Like, it's just because he knows what it feels like, and then you can understand the fact that if you do sales for you, aside, I said that any day they wake up in the morning and be like, oh, from now henceforth you are removing target from sales, oh, now everybody should just be doing sales because they are good. I mean, it's going to be very beautiful. But at the end of the day, but Chika, do you want to add something to that? We're running behind time, but I am to round off. Do you want to add something to what Tayat said? I mean, especially now that you are like, you've experienced something that is not a startup or tech ecosystem. Like, I want you to actually say something.
Yeah. So when Tayo was talking about biases, something just hits me, because me, for someone like me who has jumped across industries, I face it a lot, moving from FMCG to telco. In fact, I thought about this thing, the trade marketing. Like that one was a bit close. When I moved to telco, it was like, what are you doing? How can you make it? And I was now going to fintech. That was a totally different ball game. The luck I had there was that the interview was with the executive management straight, just one call. And just like what I was saying, I did research ahead of time. So we were just gisting. If I had gone through the ranks, maybe I wouldn't have gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, the bias will be there. This guy is not a fit. So, um, what I want to emphasize is, you see that research that I talked about is very, very important. Second thing is, depending on the level you are speaking to. I talked about implementer, unifier, and then communicator. Somebody who wants to go into implementer level, what people are looking for most likely is someone that's coachable, someone that's cool, someone that's exciting. Uh, I know that you don't know much, but can I teach you and you will do it? But if you're going into a unifier role, there are some basic things that you should know. One of my friends will tell you, look, when you're speaking to people, you're speaking frameworks. What that is telling signal is that, look, what I have done is not fluke. Oh. There's a science to it. And I can repeat it over and over again.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
So when you're speaking and you're speaking with framework that, okay, I did this framework I applied. When I'm doing this framework I applied, like for all that I in fintech, there's this bias that exists. Anybody who has done cross between bank and fintech and vice versa, you already know. If you want to come from bank to fintech, it's difficult. It's not because you are not employable, but there's a way people in fintech think. You see that design thinking is a thing. Is a thing. Everything that we do, every problem we solve is design thinking, and it's in our DNA. But in the banking sector today, as banking exists, that is not the way of life. It's totally different. It's go out there, mobilize deposits, dump. That's it. So if you want to not cross the other side, and people are asking you questions like looking at the guy is stressing you. What is not looking for is that design thinking. Okay, this is the problem. How do I discover? What is the ideation process? What's the
Mm-hmm.
how would the prototype? Is there a controlled pilot or test? What are the metrics? Daily average usage, monthly average usage, return customer turn rates. A typical banker will not talk like this. Definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless
I
you
see
have
it.
gone, unless you have gone out of that space to go and absorb some new kind of water and anointing.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're talking about, this is the part they're talking about. It's not like maybe color of your skin or your gender or it's how we do here. Can you fit in? Especially for people that want to cross. Then if you are not going to do the step above, like I said, it's that understanding frameworks and being able to show that people so that it's something that you can easily replicate over and over again. Because truly, there's no sort of that don't have a good year and a bad year. The difference between the one that they lay up and one they keep behind is that the one that had a bad year, but the effort and is being put in using the right processes, right frameworks. Everybody
Yeah.
knows that if things turn around, you will get the results.
Mm. Mm.
It's obvious. Nobody will first say, "Oh, the guy did not meet his targets." But when you ask me, say, oh, "Look, I started the year with 100 leads. My target was to get a 25% conversion rate, so I had inside 25 customers. But then again, I'm in a sector where regulation came in June and changed something that just changed the dynamics that made most customers to have a different perspective. We have to
Mm.
reorg the entire thing, meaning I have to start the funnel from the beginning. Baba, you can't be talking like this to your manager and they'll tell you that you're not working.
Yeah. I like. I mean,
But
this
when you
is.
have to come like, it's too expensive, CBN not come again, don't know what to, please, that's the door. So I don't know if the two perspectives that are clear. So
Yeah.
there's the at the level that you want to come into, you have to understand what is required. At the entry level, it's not much. Just be exciting, just be curious, ask that kind of questions. When you go up, you need to have some, basic things that I think that is. I'm
And
not executive yet, so I can't give advice on executive, but if you
after
want to do
saying
that,
everyone
please
you
Tayo on
said.
the call. You can ask Tayo. But the level that I have done well, yeah, this is what I think is it should
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is so detailed. Like you can take this to bank. Like you can take what Chiki and Tyre had said to bank, and Chiki was really brutal about it because, even at entry level, people were like, I mean, what do they want? Like, I don't know what to say. They said they are looking for these, and you know, this. I mean, I won't blame the guys that puts entry level. They're looking for 2 years experience. But like they're not necessarily maybe at the same time they should not put it right. But when you get to the core, you have experienced life. At some point of your life, you've done some things, right? Get to the core, be able to like pitch things, like pitch your experience, like be able to achieve something. And these things work even in your sales call. There's a particular client that day I was on the call with an Arsenal jersey, and I'm an Arsenal fan. So I was on the call with an Arsenal jersey, and the guy was like, "Man, I'm not going to do this call. Like, I'm not going to do this call." I was like, "What happened?" They was like, "Guy, you're coming with an Arsenal jersey. How do you think this is going to be a success?" And that was
That's a very risky move.
my bro. The guy
The most
closed.
hated club in England.
The guy closed, but that was how we moved. And unfortunately for me, it was a Chelsea fan, so it made sense. I mean, the banter happened several times on the call. Our product was blue, and so when I opened when I opened like to do the demo, it was like, okay, the product is blue. And I just knew that this is a very good person to sell. So things like that will happen. I mean, have a life. Don't just try to say it is job, job, job. I mean, we're running behind. I mean, we've run past time, 10 minutes after scheduled time. But I want to take question, and so we can wrap up. I still have something like we brought something for you that I'm going to share towards the end. Please, so we do not have so much time. I'd be able to take 3 questions. If you have them, you can put them in chat or just raise your hand. Um, while you're doing that, I want to ask a very quick question from our panelists. Chika, structured environment or chaos?
Structure.
Tayo, structured or chaos?
I actually don't mind chaos. I don't mind going into a chaotic environment. A lot of my work has been creating order from chaos or creating systemic chaos. And so I don't mind it at all. I know that I've been in startups all of the time. People hire me to come and build things like revenue teams from the ground up.
Yeah.
And many times in startups, you're doing that while the product itself is still being built. So ICP is constantly changing.
Yeah.
There's just so many uncertainties. So I don't mind it at all. I've also gone into industries where there's no structure historically, and they've been successful. So they're like, yeah, come and they're expecting you to just come and be a part of the furniture, like just join and do the things that we're doing. I come in and I'm like, I can't work this way. We need to make this thing repeatable. We need to understand what we're doing. I need to know what levers make us more money and what the risks are.
Yeah. I mean, that makes
yeah.
sense.
So I don't mind chaos at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, are there any questions in the house before we wrap up the session? We've taken more than the time that we allotted for this, but I mean it's value for the time. So okay, while we're still doing this, I want to say something. The other time, Tayo, referenced something really around the fact that, especially when I asked around the for people that are already in sales are hoping to climb the ladders, are hoping to get the attention of revenue leaders. There are lots of things that you think you know that you don't know, and sometimes getting help matter. Okay, I want to stop this. So what do you mean by chaos? And please, what I meant by that question is that Antayo answered. The situation is that you get to a place and you just discover that, oh, how many SDR do we have? We don't have any. How have you guys been qualifying leads? And now you have to first answer the question of what am I even here to do? So when you get on the job, what am I even here to do? And then because people are employing salespeople to scale, and there's no structure in place. So as a salesperson now, you want to put structure in place first, then now before you address the case of scale. But I don't know if any of our speakers want to add something to that.
Yeah. That's what it is. I was typing in the chat. Paul knows this thing. He's pulling our legs. or is asking on behalf of other people. But yeah, you go into places where there's just this is the target, this is the team, everybody run. And believe it or not, there are very many places where that happens. And you know what is best when is good when there's no structure and they agree that there's no structure. The worst part
Okay.
is when you come and you say, "Oh, but do you have this? Do you have that?" And is what you ask the founder, "What is this metric? How do you calculate? How do you like?" And they're like, so there's this semblance of it. They think that they have it, but it really doesn't exist. They're not holding it, like they're not holding each other accountable. They're not holding themselves accountable.
Mm,
There's no connection between the input and the output.
mm.
In fact, you see places where there's just a target set, and you ask them, "How did you hit this target? How did you come up with this target?" Just like, no, that's what the investors want. Okay, okay, yes, I'm hearing you. That's what the investors want. Is it realistic? They're like, yeah, we can do it. We just need to hire 10 more salespeople. I'm just like, okay. Yeah, so that's what I meant,
Okay.
Paul.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so it's been a time, but even if there's no question, I'm going to spot people and like just tell me what you think like you're taking out of this. And like I said, some of us are at several different parts of our careers. So by all means, some of us are not entry level, some of us are like in still ICs and not yet a manager. But I'm going to like spot some people. Like I'm picking somebody first directly. Ion Nike, if I'm correct, right? Okay, there's a question though, right? Are there instances where, sorry, let me read the question.
No, I can read it just to make it faster. I have the chat
Okay,
open as
sure,
well. And this is Paul again. So I assume that you want me to answer this.
sure.
Um, Paul, so the question for the rest of the people is, are there instances where it's better to leave the chaos alone because it's working? Or is structure always an improvement on chaos? Um, you, at the very least, the first step, the first thing that you need to do is to understand the chaos. Like there has to be patterns. There has to be patterns. Um, Once you figure out those patterns, you can then decide. And I bet you the answer will always be that you know that there's something you can do. There are things that you can do. You can then decide to say, okay, we understand the chaos. Let's leave it. At least we can explain it. But unless you feel like that chaos is the peak of performance, the output of that peak chaos is the peak of the performance that entity expects, you have to then figure out, okay, if this is happening, if 1 + 1 is equaling 5, then it means that 10 + 10 will equal 50. The math does not make sense, but that's what this. So then you have to run a bunch of experiments to say, okay, let's test this out. Let's test that out. Knowing, and I know Paul, guys. Knowing Paul, it's impossible for him to see the chaos, understand the chaos, and not try to invent something around it. It's impossible, and that's the way that it is for everybody. If you're in operations, if you're in sales leadership, sales management, there are always improvements that can be made. There's always can I achieve this result with less resources, or can I achieve better results with the same resources? So yeah, I don't know if that
Yeah,
answers your question, Paul.
yeah. I think that's great. Sorry, and we're running time. I just want to make sure that we're able to take our time. Somewhere, so the question.
Samuel, are
No,
you
I'm not sure
typing your
someone had
question?
you.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said. Thank you very much so far. Like, I really enjoyed the discussion. So, um, my question is just this: you guys are the other side, like, you've already had the experience, and let's say you are recruiting. I know when you want to do that, you first have to submit your CV. So, let's say I'm a beginner trying to like get the headway in, and I'm looking at the top three skills that I know that if I submit in my CV, that is going to catch your attention and want to set a meeting with me so that we can have an interview. So I just need like just three key skills you think that it's important for me to put on a resume or probably work on that will make me stand out.
Tayo, should I go first?
Yes, I want Chika to go first.
Yeah, go.
Okay. Um, so I would say listening, but to write listening up your skill on your CV is kind of subjective. So I think what would be better would be to put out scenarios where you have used this skill to achieve something. And I will give examples. So let me list the skills first. So there's listening, there's research. So research in the sense that there's somebody who is comfortable doing the dirty stuff, going online, scrubbing through numbers, scrubbing through data, just trying to understand how things work and make something out of it. That's turning chaos into something reasonable. So for someone at the entry level, when you write it like that on your CV, it doesn't make sense. If I put it there, I'm able to sell it because I've done over a decade. But for you, it doesn't make sense. So what you can easily do as on the flip side is to sell it with life experiences. So if, for example, you volunteer at a um, let me see now, let me say at your local church, children's teaching program, there's no way you can deal with children without listening to them. Especially in church, because in church, they don't like to shout on the children. You have to be loving and kind. So we have to do kids' church leader for 5 years. You are a good listener. There's no way about it. So something like that. uh So if you want to talk about research, you can put out things like, and this is where documenting your process is very, very important. A lot of us, we do a lot of cool stuff, but don't document it. At every stage in your life, if you have something like a portfolio that you can put out there to say, oh, this is what I've done. The first one that comes to mind is your career project. For you to have done a career project, you have done some research, you have done some stuff, but that one is compulsory. You have to do it to graduate, so it's not exciting. But if there's something that I have done outside that, like someone like me, for example, I love devices, like tech devices. The MacBook New that was launched today, I've been talking about it for maybe 3, 4, 5 years now. And my argument has been the chips that you have in your mobile phones are too powerful for what we need them to do. How can you have a 3 GHz chip in your phone to be doing WhatsApp and phone calls? So I knew that one day, sometime in the future, it will be put in a laptop. And that will launch. And 7 million copies sold out in less than a month worldwide. There's no MacBook New in an Apple store today. And it's the phone chip that is inside. So if you put out that there, oh, I've looked at this, and this is what the numbers are saying, this is what it might look like. Somebody already knows that this person is comfortable with doing dirty research. It's boring stuff. I like to call it boring stuff. You are comfortable doing boring stuff. Someone like that in a sales environment or a big environment, you are a star. Because you are supposed to go into let me use the word I said, chaos and find order. Or go into a cave, a mine and pick dirty stones and clean them to diamonds. That's the job. So I said listening, research. I think those two. Of course, you should have grits, but that's by the way. But when you can put it on CV, listening and research, but put it in a way that looks like you have done it, you are living it, because
Yeah.
you don't have the experience to back up a one-liner.
Oh, thank you so much, Chika.
Yep.
Yeah, I won't want that to go over that because of time. But so we're going to round off the session, and I want Tayo to do
Just
something before
so
we
sorry,
round off.
so sorry, Femi. Just on this, I have a slightly different response to Chika.
Okay.
Yeah. So first of all, if you're entry level, this is your first ever sales job, and it's not one of those ones where they're looking for 3 years of experience, then the things that are on your CV, the CV itself is almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
which then means, in my opinion, what is relevant is the other things that you have done or that you do, which Chika said. So the first skill itself is doing, just being able to do things. So show that if I brought you in today, day one, and I said, just go and find 1,000 of this kind of person on LinkedIn, I don't have to teach you how to use LinkedIn. So that's the first thing, doing. This person has done this. They organize sports. They organize. That's the first thing. The second thing is then storytelling. Because if you got the opportunity, you are the one who has to tell the story of this thing that you've done and how it connects to what we're talking about here. I'm not the one who's going to do it for you, right? If you volunteered in the church, yes, I've never been to a church before in my life. So tell me how it's important to what we're doing. So those are the top two skills. The third one, I think Chika also mentioned, is then just teachability. There's no point there's no point taking an entry-level job if you are not going to learn. So you have to show that you are able to learn, that you are teachable. And bad as the Nigeria education system is today, one of the things that I can say that it was good for, at least in my time, was that you will learn how to learn. You will find out your own way of learning, whether it's cramming, whether it's discussions, whether it's tutorials. You will learn, whether it's just reading the thing. You will learn how to learn. You will also learn the things that you are good at. So yeah, those are the top three for me.
All right, thank you, Tayo. So I was going to do something while we're ending the session, and we've said a lot of things here, right? But I feel like we've also had structures in place to make these things work. So, and it's sales lab. So I don't know if any of us have heard about this before, but the secret behind this is that someone explained mentorship to me in this way that someone has learned something in 15 years and I can pour it to you in 15 minutes, such that then you go ahead to do a lot of things. And I want Tayo to do a little bit to say some things about this before then he's going to use that as his closing remark towards the end. Then Chika rounds off. Tayo, what's up? Yeah.
First of all, I actually have a sales lab class that I'm teaching in 4 minutes. The topic is follow-up mastery. So yeah, Wumi is in that class, I believe. The idea of sales lab is what was born from a conversation that I had with a founder who had helped build their first ever go-to-market team, so sales, customer success, blah blah blah, back in 2021 or something like that, or 22. But last year it was struggling to build the next iteration of their sales team, and he reached out to me as usual, and we were just looking for talent all across the place. We spent maybe 3 months, maybe 60 interviews, and we were only able to hire 3 people. And they were looking for maybe 10 or 12 people. I don't remember the number. And the truth is, guys, there's talent, there's belief in yourself, there's grit, there's all of those things that we know that you know. But how do you convince someone that you know it? There's also the challenge of, yes, I've done this thing before in a different place, but I've come into a new place. I've gotten a better job. They're paying me more money. But the ask of me is bigger. So the work is much more difficult because, jobs are difficult when you don't know what you're doing, right? And so the idea for Sales Lab was for us to find the best salespeople that we know, and bring them together. And I say best salespeople, I don't mean people who are going to come and talk to you about the theory of sales. You can go on YouTube, you can find materials if you just want to read about the theories, but people who have done the things that they're going to be talking about, who are still doing the things that they're going to be teaching you about on a daily basis, and are going to teach you that. So that's what Sales Lab is. We have 2 cohorts running right now, entry level and mid level. We have a new cohort starting in a few weeks for leadership, so sales leadership. So if you are mid-level looking to transition to sales management, or if you're already in sales management, or you're a sales manager or a team lead, you're looking to become a VP of sales, a head of sales, or if you're a head of sales and you are building a team, that next cohort will be for you. That's what Sales Lab is. The website is saleslab.africa. You can learn more there, or you can, if you're inside of RevStar, you can find out more there as well.
All
I
right.
have to jump now, guys,
Yeah,
so that I'm
thank you,
not late for my
Tayo.
meeting.
Thank you so much. We enjoyed having you, and we'll do that again if we have to.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right. And yeah, and if you're not in RevStar at the moment, I think you are wrong, right? So a lot of things is happening there. And I might have somebody add is there a link that people can use if you are not yet in the community? A link should be dropped in the thank you very much. So you can check that and be happy to have you. Chika, any closing remark for us before we call it a day?
I think the only thing I would say is, for all of us who are in the room, we are here because we have an innate desire to move from where we are today to possibly the next level. So all I'll just say is just keep it up, keep your head up. There is no problem that is new under the sun. Continue to ask questions, seek out counsel, seek out new information, and the sky is your limit. Just like Tyler said earlier, you need grit, but it's not just about sales, it's about everything that you are doing in life generally. It's the small things that add up, it compounds. At the end of the day, when you look back, it's all stories. When I was here, when I was there, I did this, I did that. And you don't even remember all the hard, all the hard lessons at the beginning. All you just be seeing then is the smell of fresh flowers on the podium and the bling
Yeah.
bling of the medals and the ching ching of the monies in the accounts from the commission and all of that. So keep your head up.
All
Sky is the
right.
limit, basically.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very
Chika.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chika. Thank you for everything you shared with us today. And everyone, thank you for attending. I mean, this session wouldn't have happened if you're not here. And I mean, for me, I personally have learned a lot of things too, and I think you have too. So the way to get this going is, of course, Tai and Chika, they are somewhere on social media. They are on LinkedIn. You can shoot them a connection and a DM if you need some things. And as I would look at it again, Tai has set up a program that helps him do this like easily with some great people out there too. You can get to take another advantage of that. And yeah, the next time we should be saying, I want to hear that I crushed my quota, I've gotten that job, and probably I've gotten that promotion too. So great time, everyone. Thank you so much. See you again next time, next station. All right, bye. Nobody's even unmuted their mic to say, oh, bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye. Well done, Femi. Bye.